Hello and welcome to the McClellan Library. We're happy to have you here in our genealogy department today. This is a short video to teach you a little bit about searching on Ancestry.com, the library version here in our library. So we're going to start you off on our online genealogy resources page. You are going to scroll down and select Ancestry right here in this top left-hand box and click the search button. Now this is only going to work when you're here at our genealogy center. It won't work from home. This is going to pull up the Ancestry Librarian version. Now this version is similar to what you would have at home if you had a subscription. However, there are over 8,000 collections. There are things from all over the world, and it is a little bit different. So there are going to be records you can get here in our library that you can't necessarily get when you're at home. So I'm going to start you off with the most basic search. If you've never used it before, you are going to click right here on this green button that says Begin Searching. All right. Now Ancestry.com is going to load a basic search box, which you're going to see right up here. And I'm going to put in some basic parameters. Today we're going to be using a specific individual that I know quite a bit about, so we can verify that the records I show you are indeed the same person. So to start off, we're going to enter his first name, which is Luther. Middle name is R. And his last name is Day. Now I'm going to put the place my ancestor might have lived, and that is going to be Kansas, because I know this particular man was born in Kansas. There we go, and it's going to pull up USA. It's always good to have the country. And his birth year, which was 1886. Now if you don't know your ancestor's birth year, you can always use this exact button here to estimate. So you can make it exact to this year, or you can make it plus or minus 10, 5, 2, or 1 year. However, I'm going to leave this unclicked for the moment just to show you the basic search. So this is the information we have on Luther. We are going to see what Ancestry.com can pull up. I press the search button, and the site is going to pull up any records that it can link related to the words that we put in there. Now Ancestry.com does something called keyword searching. So it's going to be searching based off of what you input. So if you don't put things in, it doesn't necessarily know to find them. And I'll give you some examples and show you what I mean by that shortly. So here you have a couple options. You can view your results, of which we found 280,455 right here by the different types of records. Or you can view them by category. Viewing results by category is nice if you know a little bit about your ancestor, because then you can eliminate some of the records that may not apply. For instance, I do know that Luther was never in England, so I could ignore the 9,000 records right here in London, and anything else here, England and Wales, or Netherlands, anything that I know that this particular individual would not be found in. Now I can also click back on the Records tab, and I can sort the collections in a different way as well. So over here you have something called categories, and I can search these results. I can take the results that we have here, all 280,000, and I can eliminate any type of record that I'm not looking for. So if I am looking for military records, I can go ahead and I can select this right here, and I can start just going through the military records. If I wanted to specifically look at census documents for this individual, I could click on census and voter lists, and I could lower this down and start looking by specific years for Luther Day. But what I'm going to do now is show you a couple different ways that you can be a little bit more specific with your search and perhaps not wind up with so many results. Now, anytime you want to change your search, you just need to go back to the left and click Edit Search. All right, so this is our original search. And what I'm going to show you is another way that you can narrow your results. So let's say I know for sure this is Luther's name and I want to find this exact text. Now I can find this exact text for the computer where it will look for Luther R spelled exactly this way. And I can also select if I think it sounds like, and I'm not sure if it's similar or if I want to have like initials, I can select these options as well. This will make it a little bit of a broader results. However, we're just going to go with exact, and I'm going to show you what that does. So what that's going to do when I press exact for Luther R is it's going to take our 280,000 records that we found originally, and it's going to narrow it down significantly. Now, we only have 81 records that have been returned. This is a little bit easier to go through. Going through 280,000 records to see if they'd apply to your person would take forever, whereas 81, that's a little bit more doable. However, when we press that exact button, we are saying we are only looking for this exact spelling in the computer. So, if somebody had misspelled Luther's name on a document, it's not going to show up here. And there are lots of errors when we're doing genealogy research that we need to be aware of and we need to look out for. So I'm going to show you how you can search the records and still find your ancestors even if there are some errors or if you don't have all the information. So I'm going to go back and press Edit Search. So we're going to pretend I don't know how Luther spells his name. I do know his name is Luther, and I can be fairly certain that he would start spelling it with an L-U-T-H. So what we're going to do is we're going to use something called a wildcard. And on Ancestry.com, the main wildcard is going to be an asterisk. So you're going to press the Shift button and the number 8, and you're going to see this little asterisk or a star that's going to pop up after Luther's name. What that does is it tells the computer to look for anything in the first name section that starts with L-U-T-H and has any sort of characters after. This is especially useful, say if you have an ancestor named Samuel and you don't know if that ancestor went by Sam or not. You can type in S-A-M and do an asterisk and you will find all of the variations of that name. Or actually other names as well, because you can get Sam, Samuel, Samantha, Salmon, all sorts of different names. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Luther's name, we're going to put that wildcard asterisk, and we are going to leave it still as exact, and we're going to press search. Now our original search had 280,000. Our second search with the name and the middle initial exact had 81 records. And now when we do the exact search again with L-U-T-H, we wind up with 3,918 records. So we've made it slightly broader than the very narrowed down search, but not quite as big as original. So I'm going to start scrolling through and I'm going to show you the kinds of things that are different. As you see, we now are getting a Luther P Day that has popped up in addition to a Luther R. Both were born in about 1886 in Kansas. One wound up in Iowa, one wound up in Texas. So these are two different individuals with very similar names in the exact same census year. So as we keep scrolling, we're going to start to see some slight differences in the way the name Luther pops up. So right here we have L-U-T-H-E Day. So that's a different name. We're going to go to the next page and see what they have. And as you can see, some of the spellings are changing. Now I'm going to stop you right here at this 1910 United States Federal Census. right here we have Luther spelled L-U-T-H-U-R, which is much different than the Luther that we're looking for. However, he is married to Ora E. Day, who I know for a fact is the wife of the Luther we are looking for. Now this says he was born about 1886 in Missouri, and he was born in Appaloosa, or he was living in 1910 in Appaloosa, Iowa. So these are different facts and a different spelling than what we know to be true about Luther. However, this is our exact same man. And one of the ways that you can tell that is you can look at siblings, you can look at children's names, and you start to find these families. Now, one of the most important things to highlight here is that the census is not always 100% correct. So this is a pretty big example of us finding Luther, and it's got a different birthplace and a different spelling of his name. So now I'm going to show you a different way to search, and we're going to go back and we're going to find this exact same record, but we're going to go about it a little bit different. So let's say that I knew I needed to find the 1910 United States Census related to Luther. That is the exact time period I am looking for. We're going to go back to the Ancestry Library homepage. I'm going to click up here. I'm going to show you a different way to search. All right, it'll be just a moment while it loads for us. So instead of pressing this green button down here, we are going to go directly into Ancestry Library's collections, and we're going to search. So the first thing I'm going to do is click the search button up at the top, and I am going to select Card Catalog. Now, Card Catalog is the listing for all of Ancestry Library's collections. And the really nice thing about it is that you can search for specific places, specific times, and specific types of documents. So we're going to go up here into Title, and we're going to search 1910 Census. And press search. And here are a list of census records from the year 1910. And this is what I want right here, the 1910 United States Federal Census. So I am going to click on that. And what Ancestry is going to let me do now is it's going to let me search just that specific collection. So we are going to search all the 1910 censuses for Luther. Now, we already know that his name is misspelled, so we're going to go ahead and use the wildcard. So we're going to type L-U-T-H. We're going to put our asterisk, and we're going to push the last name Day. We're going to do again 1886 for the birth year, and put Kansas. And now we are going to press search. And here we are. The second record that pops up is that exact same 1910 census we were just looking at. So we're going to go ahead and view the record, and I'm going to show you one other thing about inaccuracies that can happen on the census. So one of Luther's children is a daughter named Juanita. And because the census takers were often not familiar with the way people spelled their names, I'm going to show you how very different a name can look on a United States census. So we are going to scroll down once it loads. Which it's taking a minute, I apologize. There we go. And you're going to see Juanita's name when she was 3 years old. It is spelled W-A-N-E-T-A, which most of us are very well aware is not how you spell Juanita. So remember, when you are looking at these census records, you're going to want to make sure that you check various possible spellings, because your ancestors are not necessarily the people who put their names on these documents, and the interpretations of what they say or where they were born or how they spell their name can be very different from what we know from other records. So there you are. This was your basic search of Ancestry.com. We hope this helps get you started. And should you have any questions, please go ahead and snag one of our volunteers or one of our staff members, and we'll be happy to help you further. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.